So I say that the idea of white superiority is a myth and that whiteness does not equal greatness, and you say that somehow that sentiment feels divisive. You can't quite put your finger on it, but my anti-racist statement to you feels like it perpetuates racism. Make that make sense to me. So you agree that we live in a white power structure. You agree that white privilege is a thing and a bad thing. You also agree that white supremacy must be dismantled, but you want to preserve and protect whiteness itself in the process, despite the fact that the sole purpose for the invention of whiteness was to propagate a social caste system based on race, with whiteness at the top and blackness at the bottom. That's what you want to keep intact. I see a lot of y'all talking against structural racism and you're anti-racist to the hilt, but not anti-white supremacists unless you're talking about the obvious boogeymen, the white supremacist extremist groups, never touching on the inherent toxicity of whiteness itself. I even see a lot of black folks trying to woo white allies by telling them we are anti-racist, not anti-white. And while I get and agree with that sentiment to some degree, it's not fully accurate. Because you see, in a white power structure, whiteness is the root of all evil. It is illogical, if not impossible, to genuinely discuss dismantling white privilege, white power structure, white supremacy without mentioning the one thing that they have in common: whiteness. That would be like men claiming to be invested in dismantling misogyny without mentioning men. To be clear, if you're not talking about dismantling white supremacy, you're not talking about dismantling structural racism. And you may be asking, well, if we don't call ourselves white because whiteness is inherently toxic, what do we call ourselves? Well, your history wasn't wiped away from you. And there was a time when white people did not identify as white. You identified by country, you identified by ethnicity, you identified by your clan. Not that kind of clan, the other clan. The reason that whiteness was invented is so that the poor whites who were being exploited by the white elites would not collude with black people and rise up against the rich. But I digress. How white folks self-identify is besides the point. The point is that if you find yourself in a discussion about racism and feels triggered by the very mention of white or whiteness, don't try to accuse the black person of reverse racism, which isn't a thing, because the racist that you are looking for is you. Don't BS yourself. We out here.